SAT is basically a entrance exam for US applications. If we need to appear in US, so we need SAT examinations to register there.
Okay. So, first and foremost, uh, so one main thing is that if you want to take admission into a college in the US, primarily in the US, but apart from US, there are other countries also that accept the SAT scores. Okay, so you should be aware of that. It is not only about the US that accept SAT scores. There are other colleges around the world also that accept SAT scores. So even at times there are, mandates are not there, requirements are not there. But if you have taken the SAT, then it is an added advantage for you if you take the SAT test. Okay. So it is a standardized test. Of course, colleges and universities will look at that apart from your GPA, your grade point average, that is, and that it is one of the criterias that the colleges will look for admission purposes. So just let me share my screen. Just 1 minute. So the full form of SAT is just SAT, first and foremost. Just wanted to let you know that. So why do you need to take the SAT? So if you're looking at, I just so let us look at the admission process as a one pie which is there. And then there are three parameters that the colleges will look at. So first and foremost, of course, will be your grade point average, which is your academic scores that the colleges will look at. Um, Again, this is an important criteria. Certain colleges would look at ninth, 10th, 11th, 12th. Certain would just look at um, 11th and 12th grade, 10th, 11th, 12th. So it will vary from college to college what scores they are looking at. Okay. So that is again where you want to apply. What are the various colleges that you are looking to apply? So they will be the ones because every college will have their own criteria for admission purposes. Okay. So, but GPA, of course, is going to be one of the main criterias that colleges will look at. Apart from the GPA, the next thing is personals. So, when I use the term personals, it means that apart from academics, what all have you done? Now, that could be extracurricular activities in the form of, uh, you know, uh, being a sports person, uh, being part of the debate team, what other things you have done in college, apart in school, apart from your academics. So they don't want clones coming into the college. They are looking at a versatile group of people. So somebody could be good at dancing, debates, acting, extracurricular activities. You might have taken part in various uh, um, functions or whatever other things apart from academics that you have done in school. And last but not the least, of course, is the deciding factor, which is the SAT. So this is the standardized test that the colleges, which the scores the colleges will look at. Any question, any query
No,
regarding
ma'am.
this? Okay. So, very, very important for you to understand that yes, your GPA really might not be in your hand right now, because if you're in 11th and 12th, it's not going to drastically change, or drastically you cannot have, uh, you know, some sports, this thing, or any other extracurricular activities, be a part of NGOs and all, suddenly you cannot do that. So, of course, SAT is in your hands right now. So, that is what we will be discussing today. So, when we talk about the SAT, it is a standardized test. So if you look at your test score format, there are two uh, things that the the SAT score consists of: the reading and writing and the math section. When we talk about reading and writing, basically it is the English part, okay? And writing again is not just writing, it is grammar per se. Okay, so grammar is an important part of your SAT score. Okay, and rather the English score, if I may say so. And the next part, of course, is the math part, which consists of algebra, data analysis, problem solving, geometry, trigonometry, etc. So these are the two things or two criterias which for which your SAT score consists of. Then, if you notice, there is a big difference in the number of questions and the timing which is there. So if you notice that less time and more questions are there in the English part. So you, as compared to the math one, wherein 44 questions, that means 10 less questions you have to attempt, and you have 6 more minutes to do that. So, do you think that is an advantage or a disadvantage for you where the SAT is concerned in terms of having to attempt more questions in less time in English as compared to the math one? Do you think it is an advantage or a disadvantage?
Math is easy, so it's basically a disadvantage. They should give more time in English.
Yeah. And also, you should understand this is an American test. Okay. So, on an average, it would be an advantage for them because we are non-native English speakers, even though we might be studying in good English schools. But again, English somehow the type of questions and all that we would see are going to be different, and it would be a challenge for us as compared to what we would see in the math part. And we, on an average, are better at math. So one has to understand this. But again, remember, we will be teaching you strategies, techniques to nail the English section also, so that in less time you are able to nail the questions. Okay. Moving on. Of course, the score, if I might talk about the score. Remember, the scoring for both the English and the math is the same. 200 is the minimum and maximum is out of 800. So total score is out of 1600. So that is something which is standard for both English and math. So let's try to demystify, break apart the various sections. So if you notice that when we talk about the both the sections, the English and the math, understand that there are two adaptive sections which are there. And both of them are timed sections. Again, timed modules are there. They are adaptive. So I will talk about what the adaptiveness means and how that works in a little while. So in the English part, you have 25 operational and 2 pretest questions in each module. Whereas in the math, you have 20 operational and 2 pretest questions in the math part. Okay, so 2 pretest questions in each module that you see. Now, what that means, what is the significance of that? What is the difference between the operational and the pretest questions? Again, we'll discuss about that in a bit. Of course, 27 questions in the English part and 22 questions in the math part in each module are there, and which English 27 to be done in 32 minutes, whereas in math 22 to be done in 35 minutes. So as we had discussed before, it is a sort of a scenario wherein more questions in less time for the English part. Another thing that I want to tell you over here is that given that approximately 1.2 minutes you will have to attempt an English question and 1.8 to 2 minutes for a math question. So there is quite a lot of disparity between these two question types. Okay. Sorry, in these two sections. Moving on. Overall, as we had discussed before, 54 questions in 64 minutes and 44 questions in 70 minutes in math. Now, coming to the question scenario, there are for each question, the multiple choice questions are there for the English, and one question, one question, 4 answer choices are there. You have to choose one answer. Whereas in the math portion, there are 2 type of questions which are there. Questions which are pertaining to um, uh, multiple choice questions, which of course you have to solve, and you will uh, you know have to put the answer over there. And of course the multiple choice question is there wherein you have to solve, and you will uh, have to choose the answer. So there are multiple choice questions as well as student produced response questions in the math part. So 25% and 75%. So that's quite a big difference which is there. So in the answers wherein you have to solve, you just have to put the answer, solve the question, and solve the answer over there. Okay. Now, questions pertaining to literature, history, social studies, humanities, science are there in the English part, whereas questions pertaining to science, social sciences, real world topics are there in the uh, uh, math part. Okay. We would think that we have questions of graph chart type of questions in the math part, but you'll be surprised that we have questions pertaining to graph and chart, diagrams, etc. type of questions in the verbal part also. Again, as I said before, we will be teaching you strategies, techniques to nail those type of questions as well. Any questions regarding the format, the question types, the number of
No, ma'am.
questions, type of questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So I just want to go back to this point wherein I mentioned that there are 25 operational and 2 pretest questions. So what do you think is the difference between the 25 operational and the pretest question types?
Basically, the 25 operational time would take less time and they would have less length of paragraph for reading. And for two pre-test question, they would have long paragraphs and confusing options.
No, all the question types are the same. But what if I tell you the 2 pretest questions that you have that come your way are not scored questions? What would you think of that? That you're attempting questions but not getting scored for it.
Might be.
Can you think why you would be attempting questions and not getting scored for it? Any idea?
No.
Okay. So actually, what happens is, so on an average, 4 questions for English you are attempting, but you're not getting scored for it. And similarly, 4 questions for math you're attempting and not getting scored for it. That is how it works out. Now you will say, then why should I attempt those questions only? Right? That will come to your mind, that why should I attempt questions if I'm not getting scored for it? But the point is that you, as a test taker, don't know which ones are pre-test questions. So all the questions look the same. And as a test taker, you don't know which ones are pre-test questions. So as a test taker, you have to give your best to each and every question that comes your way. Okay. Now, why are the pre-test questions there, non-scored questions there, and what is the importance of these? Let's try to understand those. So pre-test questions basically are questions which actually the college board uses because they need a database for the future test takers. So as a test taker, you are attempting the question, you have taken out time, you have put in the effort, you have paid for it, everything you have done, and who's getting the benefit for a database for the future test takers for free is the college board. Okay. So they need to categorize the questions as easy, medium, harder questions to understand. Again, make sure that all the questions are right. If there is any confusion, any sort of thing that is there. So to get past that, they have these pre-test questions. Okay. So as a test taker, this should not bother you, because as a test taker, pre-test questions are there, has nothing to do with you. You just have to give your best to each and every question that comes your way. Don't make assumptions or overthink, oh, this is a pretest question, oh, this is not a pretest question, because for you, each and every question that comes your way is important. So you have to give your best to each and every question. Don't overthink, don't overanalyze whether which question is pretest, which is not, because you have to give your best to each and every question that comes your way. Is that clear?
Yes.
Now, the next aspect is, of course, the adaptiveness. So, as I said, there are adaptive sections which are there. Modules are adaptive. So, if you go by that, how you attempt a particular module would determine the difficulty level of the next module. So, if you do well on a particular module, the next module would be of a higher difficulty level. And if you don't do well on a first any particular module, then automatically the next one would be of a easier difficulty level. So let's see how it works out to be. So this is a clear description of that. So the first module that you of English or math, both are going to be a mixed bag of easy, medium, harder questions. If you do well on that particular module, then the next module would be of a harder difficulty level. Similarly, if you don't do well on the first module, the second module would be of an easier difficulty level. So would this affect your score? Yes. How? Obviously, if you don't perform so well on the first module, automatically the next module would be easier, and automatically your score will also drop. Okay. So as a test taker, make sure that you do well on each module, especially do well and push your score on the first module so that you can see harder difficulty level questions and raise the bar for yourself. Any questions?
No, ma'am.
So this is how a scenario for your scoring would happen. So the first module that you see of whether it is English or math would be an mixed bag of easy, medium, and harder questions. If you do well on that, the second stage, you would see harder questions. And if you do well on that, automatically your score would be in the range of 800. Suppose in the second case scenario, if you don't do so well, then the second module would be of an average difficulty level. If you do well on that, you would see a score in the range of 680. If you don't do well, obviously your score would drop. And a mediocre performance would be in the range of around a 600. And again, even in the first scenario, wherein you have done well and seeing harder difficulty level questions in the second stage, even if you don't do well, your score is still in the range of 680. Or a mediocre performance on a harder level would give you a score of around a 700. So that is why it is very important that you push yourself and see a harder difficulty level range of questions, and of course automatically that would mean that you are pushing your score to a different level. So good idea for you to make sure that you push yourself, get a decent score on your decent performance on your first stage, so that you can get a harder second stage and get a higher score. So that is how the scoring works where the both the modules are concerned. Any doubt, any question?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So these are the type of questions that you see in the English part. There are craft structure questions, which are basically questions pertaining to the vocabulary, text structure, purpose. Cross text means dual passages. Then you have questions pertaining to information, ideas. Basically, these are what type of questions wherein you are looking for the central idea, detailed questions. Command of evidence are questions which are pertaining to the paragraph as well as the graph chart, and inferences questions wherein you are looking for conclusions. Okay. And standard English conventions are questions which are pertaining to grammar. So these type of questions are questions wherein you're looking for boundaries. Basically, these are questions pertaining to punctuations. Uh, Again, we take the punctuations for granted, but remember, as we are attempting these grammar questions, one has to be very, very good at knowing which are the punctuation signs to be used, etc. Then, of course, there are other grammar rules that you are tested for. It says form, structure, sense. Basically, it is three scenarios, which are grammar, meaning, and style. Okay, so these are the type of questions that you would see pertaining to grammar, meaning, style. Various grammar rules are tested. Uh, Rules pertaining to subject verb agreement, tenses, pronouns, modifiers. These are various error types that you are tested on where the English part is concerned. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Then the last one is, of course, rhetorical synthesis. These are questions which are basically testing you on your analytical skills. Here, questions wherein you have to analyze the information, dig deeper, think about the scenarios, and then work through it. Okay. So, again, rhetorical synthesis type of questions are questions wherein information, there is a task that they would ask you to read about, and then one has to accomplish the task. We'll talk about all these questions in a bit, a little more in detail, and strategies in a bit. And last type of questions are transitions. What do you understand by the term transitions?
Change.
Yes, change. So basically, two sets of information given, and how both these sets of information are related with each other. Are they in the same direction? Are they in the opposite direction? How that works? So these type of questions are basically related to the meaning, the context of the sentence. Okay, so one has to think how informations are related and then proceed from there. Okay. These are questions pertaining to the math part: algebra, advanced math, problem solving, data analysis, geometry, trigonometry. Again, various levels and importance given to each and every, and the number of questions according to each and every topic. So, linear equations with two variables, one or two variables, equivalent expressions, linear, non-linear equations, ratios, mean, median, mode, various
Yes, ma'am.
question
I know
types.
this all.
So basically, these questions are again pertaining to your 10th, 11th, 12th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, basically math level. Okay. Moving on, let's talk about the registration process. So when we talk about what all, where you should register, what are the requirements? So you register on the website collegeboard.org. When we talk about that, make sure when you're registering at on this website that your name and date of birth is same as it is on your passport, because that is the ID proof that is mainly used. So your spellings, the I's and E's letters have to be correct. Otherwise, you'll be another person taking the test, and that type of mistake not acceptable. The fees for students in India is 111 US dollars. Again, for each and every student, once you register, 4 scores will go free of cost to the test taking. To the college wherein you are applying. So you can, once you apply to a college, you can tell college board that I want to send my score report to these particular colleges, and they will send the 4 score reports free of cost. Apart from that, if you want to send more score reports, obviously you will have to pay more money, which is 14 US dollars per score report. Okay. So that is why it is very important when you are looking at your admission process and all that you should, shortlist and decide where you want to apply so that you can use that money properly and that particular um, thing is well taken care of. Okay. So important that you make up uh, your plans and decide where you want to go so that you can send your score reports to the colleges where you really want to go. Of course, the score report will come to you within 15 to 20 days. You can retake the test any number of times. The score is valid for 5 years. And you can, of course, change your dates. Of course, if you are canceling your test, then certain amount would be deducted. Changing centers, all these things will cost money. Okay. These are the next test dates which are there. So obviously December 7th is just around the corner, then March 8th, May 3rd, and June. These are the next test dates for the next year. So of course, people who are in their 12th would need to take the test by the December deadline, whereas students who are in 11th going into 12th, they can look at March 8th, May, or June as their test dates. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So these are the various type of questions which are there. So if you see, this is a question which is pertaining to, can you tell me?
Quantitative.
Yeah, quantitative and text. So both. Okay, so it is testing you on text and the quantitative part. Okay. Next, what about this question type? Any idea?
This is I guess textual based.
Okay, but any particular type of question that you can think that this question would be? So if you see, you are asked to complete the text. So when you are asked to complete the text, this type of question is basically a question pertaining to inference type of question. Okay. So what can you infer? What is implied? That is the type of question that it is. Okay.
Sure.
Uh, and of course, next, what about this one?
Context based.
Yeah, vocab in context space. Okay. So most logical and precise words. So basically this question is testing you on vocabulary. What about this one?
Textual evidence.
Yes, and both the passages. So they are looking and you have to find the answer pertaining to both. So if you see based on both the text, how would this particular scientist and his colleagues most likely describe the views in text 2? So text 2, how would they talk about text 1? What about this one?
Grammar.
Yes. So basically, if you see, they are saying conforms to convention of standard English. So when they say conforms to standard English, they are not putting the name of the rule, which grammar rule they are testing you on. So as a test taker, you have to see which grammar rule this question is testing you on. Same over here, conventions of standard English.
Yes.
Again, we don't, it's not specified which grammar rule you are tested for. Same over here, again, not really clear which grammar rule you are tested for. So these type of questions are a little tricky. So one has to think, dig deeper, and understand the information properly so that you know what this question type is testing you on. Okay. So be very, very careful while doing these type of questions. This is the type of question that I was talking about, which is basically pertaining to the accomplish the goal type of question. So when we use the term accomplish the goal, so this is the rhetorical synthesis
Rhetorical synthesis.
type of question. Yes. So if let's try this one first. So the student wants to explain the advantage of micro probes. So as a test taker, um, you need to understand that the question is about advantages of micro probes, and then it says which choice most effectively uses relevant information for the from the notes to accomplish this goal. So this is accomplish the goal type of question. So this question can be very time consuming, but to be a smart test taker, what do you need to do? You need to focus on just the relevant bullet points and not the complete bullet points. So which are the bullet points that you can focus on or point out to just to find the answer? Do you need to read the whole thing or think?
Only last two.
Only last two bullet points, because these two bullet points are talking about the micro
Microprobes.
probes. Yes. So as a test taker, I don't need to pay attention to all the bullet points. I need to pay attention to the bullet points pertaining to the micro probes only. So if I just read these two bullet points, quickly read through them, then we'll work on our elimination. Read through the bullet points?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, which are the answer choices that are not talking about micro probes at all? So as a test taker, rather than going and looking for the right answer, I will go and look for the wrong answer. So if you look at answer choice A, does it
It's
talk
wrong.
about
Wrong.
micro probes at all? No. So I can eliminate answer choice A.
D is also eliminated.
So D is also talking about both. Just yeah, so it says both microprobes and rovers can be used. So it really doesn't tell us or give us an advantage. Now, down to
C is also eliminated.
so C is again saying they have been proposed, but that is not an advantage. So we will look at answer
B.
choice B because it is talking about an advantage, which means that it has less weight and can be deployed anywhere. So that is why we can say that B is the right answer. So step by step, we will pay attention to the important parts and then proceed from there rather than reading everything and then getting stuck with it. Okay. Now, if you look at this question, conforms to convention of standard English. As a test taker, what do? I need to go to the answer choices and see what is changing in the answer choices. So can you tell me what is changing in the answer choices?
The verbs. No, not
Verbs.
the verb. Yeah, verbs.
Okay, so if you say verbs, what basically about the verbs?
It's past, but present and future tense basically.
Okay, so has, are, have, and enhance. Actually, apart from that, it is just mainly, if you look at it, it is more about singular and plural. Yes or
Yes.
no? Yes. Because if you notice, it is saying has, are, have, enhance. So it is not about the tense. All of them are in present tense. Okay. So as a test taker, pay attention to what is given. And here it is the verbs, but it is not about the tense. It is about whether we are looking at something in a singular form or in a plural form. So keeping that in mind, what do I do? Now I read the paragraph with the blank and understand whether we need, are we talking about something singular or plural? So it is just a single sentence, but are we talking about something singular or plural?
Singular.
What are we talking about? What is the subject?
French poem.
So if we say that we are talking about the Bengali author, so this part is the one that is the subject. The information in the middle is just a lot of additional information. So we are talking about something singular. So if we are talking about something singular, which answer choice can we totally eliminate?
Have enhanced and all.
Yes.
Are
So
enhancing, have enhanced.
correct. So we are talking about singular. So they enhance, if I say, if I may use, so they have and they are. So all are gone. So A is the right answer. Clear? Okay. What is this question type testing you on?
Plurals and possessive.
Yeah, tell me. It is testing you on punctuation. What type of punctuation is it testing you on? Apostrophes. Okay. So when we are talking about apostrophes, when do we use apostrophes?
Possession.
Yes. So we use apostrophes in two case scenarios: possession and contraction. In this case, because we are looking at something, whether it belongs to the threads or something that belongs to the screws. Okay, so let's read the sentence and understand, does something belong to the threads or does something belong to the screws? Read the sentence and tell me.
It belongs to screws.
So something belongs to the screws. So that means we will eliminate the answer choice wherein something does not belong to the screws. So D does not have the apostrophe. Now, does something belong to the threads?
No.
No. So A answer choice will go because nothing belongs to the threads, whereas they have given an apostrophe over here. So now down to two between answer choice B and C. What is the difference between answer choice B and C?
Ma'am, if we will go with option C, because in B it's apostrophe after S, which is against the rule.
No, it is not against the rule. There is a different rule. It is not against the rule.
Like if S is already coming in some spelling, we need to put the apostrophe after the completion. But if it's not, then we have to put in there.
Okay, no. So now that's the rule that we need to know. Apostrophe after S is used when we are talking about something plural. And apostrophe before S is used when we are talking about something singular. So that's the difference. Okay. So now think, read and take your clues from the other parts of the sentence and tell
C.
me, are we talking about something singular or are we talking about something plural?
Singular.
How do you know?
Screw into a paper.
Yeah, a screw. Okay. So when we say a screw, that means we are looking at something singular. So C is the right answer. And screws, we are not talking about something plural. So that will go. Clear? Any doubt?
No.
Okay. What about this one? What do you think your strategy would be when we are doing these type of questions?
First, we need to think of ourselves that what we need to put, like which basic word will be possible for this blank, and then we have to see the choices.
Okay. So as a test taker, rather than putting all the answer choices into the blank, we need to read the sentence and we need to come up with our own word that could go into the blank. So do that. I'm just putting a link in the chat window. You can fill that up also. This is a feedback form. You can fill that up as well. Now think, are we talking about something singular? Sorry, what type of information or word are we looking for?
The word should be similar to crossing.
So it says over here is known for dash traditional boundaries. So if we say reinforcing, anticipating, epitomizing, transcending, all of them could fit. But our clue or information will come from the second half. So here they say that it says the university lab uses that DeCruz uses includes these people and makes use of insights and techniques from all those fields. So that means it is not just sticking to these fields, it is going beyond those fields. It is moving beyond those fields, right? So if we are going beyond these fields, so which answer choices do not fit with the context?
B and C.
Yeah, so A and B actually, reinforcing and anticipating. Obviously, last down to 2, epitomize means reaching the peak. So that also will not fit into the context.
D.
So D is the right answer. Transcending, going beyond the traditional boundaries. Clear? So as a test taker, pay attention to what type of word will go into the blank and then stick to it. Okay? Find the answer and go eliminate the others. Okay, let's look at this last one. What type of information are we looking for? What are they saying? So they are saying it most effectively uses the data from the table to complete the example. So that means something which is the last part, the example. So what do you understand from the table? So the table is talking, the example is talking about that the participants evaluation varied widely depending on the occupation that is there. So what is the evaluation about? The evaluation is about the likelihood that the robots can work effectively in different jobs. So unlikely, likely, and neutral. So we will not really look at this neutral part. Focus on the others. So TV anchor, teacher, maybe 50-50, firefighter, little more on here, surgeon, quite a bit unlikely, and tour guide, quite a bit likely. So if you go to the answer choices, actually all the answer choices somewhere or the other will be correct. So it says, if you look at answer choice D, it says 60%, 62% are somewhat unlikely, which is actually there in the firefighter. 9% neutral. We don't really need a neutral scenario because we said varied widely. Okay, and again 47 and 37, but it doesn't talk about, it talks about only one occupation. Now between answer choice A and D, which one will we choose?
A.
Yeah, A, because here it is talking about the extremes. Okay, so A is the right answer, varied widely. D doesn't tell us about that. Okay. So whenever we are doing these type of questions, we need to pay attention to what is given in the text and what is relevant to the question asked. Two things. Please fill up this form, and also if you have any questions, queries, do let me know. Any questions, any queries?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Please fill up the form, the link for which the link I have put over there. So no questions. So
No, ma'am.
okay. In case you need any question, query, let me know, and or you can get in touch with us later. Best of luck for the future. Any doubts and all, do let us know. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Best of luck. Bye bye. Any other question, query, bache?